heard about the commode. The
I
commode.
haven't heard that in a long time.
Commode. My granny used to say
It's a blast from the past for your ass.
She'd say commode a lot. She'd be like, the commode's bro. I'm
Hi,
like,
everybody.
yeah, whatever, lady. Whatever, lady.
Hello, freaking finally.
We're here.
Beep, beep,
Beep.
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 Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? We're talking about commodes, by the way. If anybody, how many of you guys know what a commode is?
How many of you know?
How do you spell commode, KB? Because I'll tell you if you spell it wrong.
Bro, I don't know. I can't spell them. Why would you do this?
Commode.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're right. Commode, but it's spelled with a C. If you spell it with a K, it actually means a chest of drawers. Facts for everybody. It's German for dresser.
Oh, God.
You know what that reminds me of?
Good thing my grandma's
What does that remind you of?
Everybody down here said instead of chest of drawers, like on the Facebook Marketplace, they'll say Chester drawers. Like as in Chester.
Everybody down here says it too.
Why?
I mean, when you have a bunch of, inmates running your towns.
Hang on a second. Let's Google this. Why Chester drawers? Drawers.
Drawers.
Draws? Why Chester drawers?
Drop them draws.
What? The story of Chester drawers. Oh, it's a
Chester.
Google Doc. What the heck? How long
boy.
is this? I don't need this in my life.
Is it a dissertation on the reason why it's a Chester drawer?
Boy, howdy, isn't it? How many
Boy,
pages
howdy.
are in this document? There's like 20 pages in this. I don't need to know that bad.
No, can we meet up and go to a town hall and just filibuster with the theory of the Chester drawers?
Chester drawer.
The Urban Dictionary defines Chester drawers as as
Oh no.
the physical condition that happens to people who gain so much weight that their chest falls into their drawers.
Oh,
that's an Urban Dictionary thing.
Yep.
I like that.
It is also a very inappropriate one about a lady whose chest hangs past her drawers. But
let's hear it. I want to hear it.
All right. Well, the example is she surely has her Chester drawers on.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't get it. I'm sorry, podcast.
You got to tighten them down with your belt. You know what I mean?
Tuck them in, man. You know what I'm saying?
Put those pancakes down.
You want them to fly away. Turn the Dumbo. Sprout
That's
wings.
where the calm your tits came from, you know?
Probably.
Calm them. Get those calm.
them. Buckle them up. Strap in.
Oh man, how's everybody been?
Good. We're excited to be here. I mean, we've got a chat full of people. We are rolling into this one, but I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're very excited to be here. We do have a great show today, but we know we're just we're rolling into it. We're going the Trader Joe's route. We're going organic.
I'm fine with that.
What's Trader Joe's? I ain't never been one of them before.
It's like a Whole Foods, but better, and they sell awesome cookies.
What's a Whole Foods like? I haven't got one of those.
I've only ever been to Half Foods, where they have half of the food.
Listen, brother, we have Giant Eagle, Aldi, Coons, and
I hate Aldi.
Walmart and Target.
You got what?
I know that's a hot take. I hate Aldi, man. Aldi sucks.
I don't like Aldi either. And
They charge you a quarter that they give back to you when you actually return your cart, but
somebody else's quarter, man. I don't want that. You know what I mean? I don't want change. I don't like change. I hate it. I hate it. Makes my hands smell all weird. And, you know what I mean?
We were at a school yesterday shooting pictures of like middle school. My wife does photography. I don't know if I've ever told the podcast exactly that.
She does photography? Nah.
You know what? Go kick rocks. But we were at a school yesterday shooting pictures, and there's this, the boxes on the walls? Like, this is a blast from the past in the 90s. The boxes on the walls that sold the like pencils and pens and the notebooks for like a quarter or 50 cents that you could like. She goes, I want a gel pen. Wife goes, I want a gel pen. And I go, do you have a quarter? And she goes, no, I don't have a quarter. I'm like, I don't have a quarter either. So no gel pens. Unfortunately, they should start taking cards.
Just Apple Pay, man. Just tap your phone.
Just tap it. Give me my gel pen.
Let me just, you guys do pay wave here at school or what?
Yeah.
It'd be good.
Man, it was funny. It was funny. Back in high school, there was this really, really rotund kid, and we used to throw him into the vending machine. and we would get like free drinks, dude, free Monster. You know the vending machine where they have the rows and then a little bucket comes up and it picks
Hold
it up
on.
and then it like
Listen, before we get into this, let's talk about a teaser for the Patreon episode, Midnight Snack episode 3, where you talked about getting bullied the entire time. Like, come on now.
We took turns like tossing him around, and then whenever we'd go to like Votech in the afternoon because Auto Body was at the way other end of the building, we all hid behind him, and he said, "Hold on," and he just bulldozed through crowds of people, and then we would all just get on the bus, man, before everybody else because he just mow people down.
Nice of him. That was nice of him. He's like the juggernaut.
He pretty much was. He was funny, man. He was one of my friends. I haven't talked to him in a minute, but that's because he's got like legit 10 cars now. Half of them are like right-hand drive Japanese cars. The other half are untitled American muscle cars. So like,
you should call him.
If you're not a U.S. postal worker, can you drive those in America?
Yeah,
you can get them registered.
Cool.
I've seen.
Good luck going to a drive-through. Like,
you can only go to rallies where it has the 2 lanes that go on the other side of the checkers for all of you other people.
But dude, like, get this. Dude had so many cars at one point, the state had to send him a letter and said, either you get your dealership license or we're towing those cars and they're ours now. So he had to like,
oh my God.
Like, he was
licensed to have a dog, licensed to have multiple cars. Like, this state sucks.
Dude, what do you think? This is the South up here, man. This is past the Mason-Dixon line. We have order. We have law and order up here.
I want my Peacocks and 30-car garage, please, with no licensure. Like, get out of here.
You want your Peacocks, 30-car garage, couple Tigers, you know.
See, Beryl from the chat says you can get a K truck for $3K. You guys know what the K trucks are? The tiny little Japanese truck. I think they're cute. We've got a Hot Wheel one upstairs. I watch a guy on YouTube who's built like a little tiny house in the back of a K truck. It's cool.
I want to do a K truck.
For a tiny house.
I want to do a K truck and then paint it like the Mario Bros movie, Mario Bros van.
The yellow one,
like they did with the Ford Transit van.
Yes.
Do that to Mrs. Nerds van. Doesn't she have a Transit van?
She does.
All yellow. I'll come down, dude. I've rattle canned a car time or two in my day. We'll give me a case of rattle can in about 2 hours, and we'll have that sprayed in a jiffy.
We can do that. That could be a weekend project. If
I'll even
object.
I'll even cut the vinyl, man. I'll even cut the vinyl to suit, Mario Bros. Plumbing.
Yeah.
I'm down. Count me in.
See? Is it paid off? Or you know what I mean? Is you still owe on it?
I think it's paid off.
Let's definitely do it then. Let's definitely do it.
I gotta ask my wife.
Sure. Yeah.
Eric's like, I want to spray paint.
I want a K truck.
Eric, your mama's in.
Yeah,
mama.
How's she doing?
Good. Do we want to tell the origin story? I'm just considering this the start of the episode. By the way, we're not doing any fancy transitions. We're just going in.
No need.
So last Tuesday last Monday I was like, I woke up at 8. Normally I like to wake up at 7:40, 7:50 because I have to be at the door by like 8:20 to get to where I need to be by like 8:48 to give me 10 minutes to just set up. And I hate going into work like it's like 8:59 and I'm like not mentally prepared, So anyway, I get up at 8 and I shower. My son's in the shower. We're just cleaning up, and then I get out and dry off, get dressed, and then he's ready to come out. And then I'm drying him off with the towel, and I'm like, oh, I need to get you clothes. Then Amber gets up, and then she comes out to me, stands above me, and she's looking at her phone. She's like,
that towering 5'6" lady.
I know. So she looks down at me. She's like, I need you to take the day off of work on Thursday. And in my immediate first thought, I was like, somebody's died.
Oh no!
I'm like, somebody's dead. Like,
just my will to live. It's fine.
I think the worst thing immediately, as soon as like we need to talk.
I mean, I do too. For real though, I do too.
Then I start scanning my brain, thinking, "Oh my god, I'm going to go to jail. Like, what have I done?"
You need to take Thursday off. We got a body to bury, Eric. Let's go. Come on.
It's like, you got that thing in the fridge for 3 days. Anyway, so she's like, we're going to the airport to pick your mother up, and I'm like, what? I was like, I'd seen a ghost. I didn't know how to process it, and it still doesn't feel real. So we went Thursday. My mother flew in, picked her up from the airport. They left her bags in San Francisco. She was without her suitcase for an extra day. It's just like it is the biggest blur. It's like I had put it out of my mind because, being away from my family for so long, like I haven't been home since 2018. I haven't seen my mother since 2020.
Yeah.
I just put it out of my mind because it's just expensive. You know what I mean?
Yep.
To fly all three of us there. So I just had well and truly out of my mind until we were in a better state financially. Then all of a sudden it's like, boom, she's upstairs. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
I tried my dangest to throw you off the trail last week.
I know you did.
I'd known about this. KB asked me about it like right after the show. Like you clicked off, you hung up, and KB goes, "Hey, what are they really doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll tell you. I was like, his mother's coming." And I was like, but I'm trying to like redirect from you so that way hey, you should take that time off. Go enjoy a vacation. Going to Tasmania.
That's what I thought we were doing.
Yeah, I'm like, I go, oh, is he going on like this like wild vacation? Like, what do they have planned? And then he's like, no, here's what's really happening. And I was like,
better than a vacation.
My jaw hit the floor for you.
It's
so
good,
I was very happy for you, man, to hear that.
Dude, were you big crybaby?
I would have
volunteers standing there. You got your sign up, Mrs. Ladd.
No, nobody cried. It was immediate frustration because she had got out of customs and went to go get her bag, and then it wasn't there. So then she had to file a claim. So she's as soon as she comes out of the door, she's just like frustrated, and I'm like, well, what's going on? And like immediately we're down to business. But it was really good because my son saw her and like ran up to her and was like, "Grandma," because the last time that they saw each other, he was like 2 weeks old. So it's like quite
like FaceTime pretty often.
Yeah, well, I mean, as often as we can. With the time difference, it's kind of hard. But now that the clocks are changing, it'll be a little bit easier. But it was just he's loved having her here.
I bet.
It's good.
I bet.
Awesome. It's direct attention, constant direct attention for him. So like,
well, I mean, you have to think of it this way. It's like she's shoving 3 years of being a grandmother into 3 weeks. Like this is the first time that she can really be grandma. You know what I mean? So it's a weird, like people only in like overseas situations can really, I suppose, understand like the gaps of years apart. Just trying to cram it in all at one short amount of time,
Yep. I get it.
Yes. So that's been me.
Dude, I'm stoked for you. I'm stoked for you.
Same. I'm very happy that it all came together for you.
JB, did you do anything cool this week?
Well,
let's hear it.
You laugh. Was it cool?
Tell us about your drain pipe.
So apparently, we've had some gnarly storms coming through, man. The wind is still like it. We still have like 25-mile-per-hour winds outside. So like, if I lose power, it's been nice knowing you.
Same. I'm sorry to interrupt in there because we are like it is my weather going up to KB's area, but like it's been bad.
Yeah, it's been real bad. Like they said, we'll have gusts up to 55 mile per hour. It's been wild. But like so, part of our gutter is now hanging off the house, but like it's kind of resting on the electrical lines coming into the house, and then the water's just like draining right over top of them. So I'm like, yeah, this is good. So we got somebody coming Monday for that, and then today Tipper poor guy had to get sedated again to go to the vet. He's looking like Elon Musk smoking a doob on, Rogan's podcast. He's sitting there like, just bobbing his head. I'm like, are you okay, dude? And he's like looking at me. He's trying to walk. He doesn't know, like he was trying to swim to me on the couch. I'm like, it's adorable, but like I can't. Yeah, he was doing that. And he's his little paws are trying to grab onto whatever he can. He is messed up, dude. It's hilarious. That happened, and then I'm excited because I finally got the bike in the shop today. So that's going to get looked at. I told him, I'm like, just call me when it's done and ready to go.
Did you drive it over there?
Oh, hell no, dude. I had to.
You're going to say, oh, hell yeah.
No, I can't because it doesn't shift.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I cannot,
so you're just staying in first gear the entire way, 25-mile-an-hour wind, just blowing you 6'4" man off the road.
That would take forever. No, I actually had to coordinate with a friend because he's got a truck, and he helped me get it over there, which it was only like a 10-minute drive down the road, but I don't have a truck anymore. I got rid of that for the bike. So like You know, and it's a smaller shop. So I'm like, do you guys have anybody that might be able to pick it up? And they're like, no, the other place I bought it at, they do, but it comes at a cost. You have to pay for that shit. So I'm like, But anyway, that's there. So like, I'm a little nervous about it because like, I don't know how much that's going to cost. I don't know what parts are going to be covered, if anything else is needed. So like, I don't know. I know the clutch isn't. So like, if I smoke the clutch, that's on me. That's fine. That was an expensive mistake that I'll never do again. But I mean, other than that, dude, tried the Diablo 4 beta. It is real. It's good. It's good. It disconnects you a lot because they even tell you in the, like, when you go to log in, they're like, yeah, hey, we're refreshing the servers and trying to update them live while you guys are playing it. So if you get disconnected, that's why. So like, it's good. It makes me want to play Diablo 3 again. I mean, that's the biggest thing. It makes me want to play the older ones now. I'm like, ooh, I could go back to Diablo 3 and play that. But other than that, dude, that's all I got. That's all I got.
What about you, Mr. Nerdwire? What's happening in your neck of the woods?
Oh my God. I feel like I've been living in a vomitorium for the last 4 days. Like, if you guys have been over my Discord at all, like, you know that like I spent 26 hours awake because my kids both back to back at 8:30, right before I was going to go live on, I think it was Thursday, maybe on Friday. Yesterday was Friday. All my days blend together at this point. But my kids back to back decided to start getting sick. And now my wife is also sick. So like, I am the last man standing, hoping to stay alive with no issues whatsoever. It's been good, but I mean, I've been getting a lot of alone time. I've been playing Mario. We finished up Super Mario 64 yesterday, so that was good. I'm glad that's gone. And then even beyond that, like, I've been playing a lot of Marvel Snap on my phone, really enjoying that. That's tons of fun. Trying to find something good to jump into and read. I was asking some people for some hey, you should read this recommendations, but so far I haven't had anything that's like really piqued my interest.
Have you read the I'm sure you probably have. It's like the Sega story.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I have the Sega story.
What is it called?
Let me Google it. The Sega story.
Talk about Sega. The Console Wars.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't said. I thought that was a movie.
That's a really.
It is a movie.
But yeah. They made a thing about it later on. But like, I gotta say, that's a great book.
I'm very interested.
And it's relevant to what you would be interested into. I mean, like, I very, very rarely read, and I plowed through that. I like that one a lot.
I got a credit on for Audible right now, so hey. There we go. So I may end up jumping into that at least.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's a good one.
You can always read Ask Iwata if you haven't yet.
Oh, if I haven't,
that's always a good one.
You can't see it, and my camera's not wide enough. I've got that one. I've got that one on the book. Reggie's book is really good too. Dude, that one like shaped my business sense, like in a good way. Hey, don't be afraid to take a left turn. Like,
yeah.
So what? So what? As he says, you know.
Hey, if you watch the Midnight Snack, you know it's kind of how I live, man. So what? Take a left turn.
You know what? Speaking of the Midnight Snack, we put together a wonderful show the other day for those interested in the whole Midnight Snack and Patreon
everything
thing.
Went Midnight Snack.
Everything went Midnight Snack. Where did it go? This one here. Hang on.
No, I'm serious. Everything went Midnight Snack. Oh, okay. It's on purpose. It's intentional.
It's on purpose.
There it is.
We had the whole Midnight Snack the other day on our Patreon, which was the KB origin story. And thank you again to these people for funding the Midnight Snack as well. Over at Patreon, you can get a lot of cool things, such as 3 tiers of content more often, which is really great. And our most recent Midnight Snack being the KB origin story. It was a really good one. And in the description of the show, I put "Bring your tissues." It's a good one.
Oh man!
Don't forget your towel.
Don't forget your towel.
But no, it was really good. Had a great time talking with KB, learning some more about his origin story. If you guys are curious and would like to know more about what that makes that man tick and the kind of person that he is, go give that a listen if you're a Patreon. And if you're not a Patreon, go sign up. It's not expensive. It's not expensive, and you can just like listen to it. So it'd be good.
Yeah. Well, with that, what do you say we move on to the news by? Because this week there's been a lot of stuff happening with a date looming. Very
Let's do it.
closely. So I got some good news. When my mother came to visit, she brought my Pikachu 3DS XL.
Oh my god!
yeah.
And what's the first thing that I did to it?
You liberated it and then loaded it full of ROMs.
Well, let me show you here. So I've that was the first thing I did. So of course I've got the old homebrew thing on here. Just because you're going to have to now, because that's going to be the only way that you're going to be able to obtain games going forward. However, there was a really interesting article that came out over the week, articles, because it's been covering the specific video. So Gerard the Completionist, of course, you guys know, as a famous YouTuber in the video game circle, he bought every Wii U and 3DS eShop game before the shutdown here on the 27th, which is tomorrow for me. And it costs $23,000. And essentially, it was the collections measure at 1.2 terabyte and 267 gigabytes respectively. So, I mean, you can kind of make up your mind as to what's for what console. But yeah, he bought everything for just shy of $23,000, and this is an ordeal that took a little bit of time because buying all those games is a hell of a deal. So as this article from GameSpot says, when a digital storefront shuts down or games get delisted, countless titles run the risk of being lost forever. What would it take to save all those Nintendo Wii U and 3DS games from being lost? Step 1, determine what was necessary in terms of cost and storage. To summarize it, he did all this, bought all these games, and then sent them to there was the Video Game History Foundation, or he sent them somewhere, because this was a really great follow-up point from what we had last week, is talking about game preservation. So bought all those games to preserve them. And there's been a lot of people saying stuff on like, oh, he could have just pirated them, or like go buy a physical. It's like the eShop, most of that stuff is digital anyway. So very interesting task that he undertook there.
I don't know if you watched that video, but like the thing that I appreciated about what he talked about at the end of his video, he goes, why do you think I did this? Like, that's the question. Why? That everyone wants to ask. And he said, ultimately, look, I know the work that I put in to be able to purchase all of these games and put this on these consoles to be able to donate to the VGHF was an ordeal. But the amount of work that the developers put in to just get their games out on these platforms was significantly harder than anything that I just had to deal with in this 20-minute video that I just showed you guys. And it was an effort to support the developer. And like, I know we talk a lot about, hey, liberate your 3DS, liberate your Steam Deck, liberate your Analog Pocket, like whatever it may be, and throw those ROMs onto there. But one of the best things that you guys can do, and doing it responsibly, one of the best things you guys can do for developers is support them monetarily. If you can buy it legally,
absolutely
buy it legally. Don't buy from resellers or scalpers, but try to buy it legally. I think it was a really, really cool thing. So super cool. Which, by the way, we're in the final 48 to 36 hours of the Wii U and 3DS eShop purchases that you can make. So again, like Eric said, closes day after tomorrow for us, tomorrow for Eric.
Yep.
So
that's right. I mean, as Netta says in the chat here, this is a really great thing from Gabe Newell. Piracy is a service issue. People have been liberating their 3DSs and Wii U's now for a little bit, but now, of course, what we mentioned last week with the Wii U's having NAND issues and storage controller issues, and now with the eShops shutting. I mean, like the 3DS is a 12-year-old device. The Wii U is 11 years old now. Like, these are old devices that are no longer supported. So the only way that you can continue to move them forward is add your homebrew.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the reason the PSP scene was as good as it was, and the Vita for modding and homebrew and all that other jazz.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, they stopped supporting the dang platform. So don't let that console die. So with you.
Absolutely.
I agree. I definitely agree. Hey, speaking of canceled things, Microsoft canceled the PS5 version of Redfall after Bethesda acquisition. So Arcane was developing a PS5 version of its upcoming first-person vampire shooter, Redfall, before Microsoft acquired Bethesda in 2020. However, following the acquisition, the PS5 version of the game was canceled by Microsoft, according to Arcane director Harvey Smith in an interview with IGN France. Discussing with IGN France, Smith said, "We got bought by Microsoft, and that was a huge sea change. They said no PlayStation 5. Now we're going to do Game Pass, Xbox, and PC."
I like that no PlayStation 5.
I know. Well, Smith said Arcane didn't mind the decision, even if Redfall was originally meant to release on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And they go on to say support from Game Pass and having to worry about one less platform is one less complexity, Smith told IGN France, and Game Pass has a ton of people that can play. It can be our biggest game ever because of the 30 million Game Pass members or whatever that number is. So like, imagine that you're the developer on the PS5 team of that. You get bought and you're like, "Oh, this is great. We're going to have a company that has lots of cash, lots of cash. Maybe we'll actually do some good." And they go, your boss comes over and goes, "Hey man, all the stuff you're doing for the past like year and a half, you're done. We'll move on. We're moving on." Like as a worker, I'd be like, "Well, that was fun," but as a business move, it kind of shows me why PlayStation has been putting up a big stink about the Blizzard Activision because of that. Nobody knew about that.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
This is super detrimental to the case that they have. Like,
it absolutely
to say, hey,
is.
We're not looking at pulling any games from PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Now,
it's crazy.
There's a little blurb here that says a spokesperson for Microsoft responded to this story providing the following statement. "We haven't pulled any games from PlayStation. In fact, we've expanded our footprint of games that we've shipped on Sony's PlayStation since our acquisition of ZeniMax, and the first two games we shipped after closing were PS5 exclusives. We did the same thing since our closing of Minecraft as we extended the reach of that franchise."
Because they had to.
Yep. All of the games that were available on PlayStation when we acquired ZeniMax in March 2021 are still available on PlayStation, and we have continued to do content updates on PlayStation and PC.
Because they have to.
I know. Well,
I'm sorry, I keep adding that in right after. It's like because they have to.
It's true.
We have always said that that future decisions on whether to distribute ZeniMax games for other consoles will be made on a case-by-case basis.
Interesting.
That's the clincher. That's the clincher.
Apparently, and this game comes out May 2nd, so that's right
really
around
close.
the corner.
I mean, it would all but been done.
Mm-hmm.
Really. So
this is interesting, that case by case basis stuff. Like, what defines the case by case? Which means like we're just not putting that out there.
It's all political now because everybody's been caught up
Mm-hmm.
in that whole drama, and I think sometimes it's just good to step away from that in terms of being on the PlayStation platform now.
And you know what's great about this whole thing? Like usually any podcast that covers any type of gaming news, there's that little lull period between January to, let's say, like end of April, where there's nothing really going on. And thank Microsoft for this awesome thing that they've given us. We've had nothing but follow-up article after follow-up article of content that covers this. And I mean, it's a lot of people be like, why do I care about it? Well, here's why you care, because of that. Because if they buy Activision Blizzard, whatever game is coming out might not make it to the PlayStation.
Exactly.
Whatever game is currently in development, you might not get to play it unless you buy into their ecosystem, which is kind of unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
However, I mean, this is on a Game Pass thing. So again, Microsoft has this really interesting mindset, and I dare say monopoly, because the accessibility of all the titles on Game Pass. Spend $79, however much a month,
$120 for the ultimate version for a year.
Go play that game for cheap on whatever you got.
Any console, anywhere, any phone, and
that's the thing that I like about Microsoft and all of this is that they've made their games accessible. If you don't want to get a Series X or an S, you can absolutely play it on Nextcloud or on your TV. Just if you can download the app, like there's ways to play it without having to buy a console, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, console makers don't make jack diddly on freaking consoles anyway, except for Nintendo.
Yep.
Nintendo's the only people who make any money, and that's pennies on the dollar. But at the same time, like everyone else takes a loss. Microsoft's got it together with that.
That's right.
Holy cow. Speaking of things that are getting back together, though, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers has a new trailer for a movie that's getting ready to roll out, and I'm very excited. And I know my wife is super excited. She's like a huge Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan. And the main reason that I've even maintained interest in that series is because of her. But new trailer dropped. They announced this like 2 months ago that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always is coming out. It's going to star some of your favorite people from the old school Kung Fu Super Sentai kind of Warriors series from the 90s. I'm so stoked for it. You've got the frontman Billy, the Blue Ranger, and then you also have Zach, the Black Ranger, also included in there. The synopsis for this is it's set 30 years after the wise and powerful Zordon formed the MMPR. Team comes face to face with a familiar threat from the past, which, as you guys can see in the trailer up there, is Rita Repulsa. In the midst of a global crisis, they are called on once again to be the heroes the world needs. A couple of pieces there, though. The Pink Ranger that is in here is not Kimberly. It's one from a following series that was on there. And they've brought back Rocky as the Red Ranger and not Jason. So, like, there are some really, really good old school Rangers references, but it's just good to see, like, this, like, very cool original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series kind of make another comeback, and them, like, celebrating the history of what that was.
But
like,
who is going to be the Green Ranger in this series? They have not shown that.
No, and they haven't even talked about it because Jason David Frank being gone, like...
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's a shame that he's gone, because could you imagine him in this? Like,
he does have another film that's coming out that's a lot like this. I think it's called the White Dragon.
Yes, that's right.
Called? White Dragon.
Yeah,
what is it called?
I'm seeing some stuff on Facebook about that.
Jason David, Legend of the White Dragon, which is also like a more mature take on the Rangers. It's similar to the movie that came out a couple of years ago that a lot of people didn't necessarily love, but didn't hate either. It was just kind of meh. But like that's what it kind of reminds me of. But I'm excited. And it's coming to Netflix. I missed the date on that.
April 19th.
April 19th. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. It arrives on Netflix in about a month. Yep. So you guys plan your date nights. Go watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Relive your childhood.
I'd be interested to see what that's like.
I'd watch it.
I mean, I liked Power Rangers a lot when I was a kid. But it's been many years. But I still look at it every now and again. Speaking of this, I'll tell you, this was a really great segue. Did you know that the Power Rangers once crossed over with the Turtles?
I did. It's a good book.
Speaking of TMNT, you guys, we talked about this a little while ago. The Last Ronin. Last Ronin is a really great telling of. I suppose it's like an alternate universe. A Turtles or whatever. It's just a really great cap to the Turtles' tale. And this was a really great book. I love the book. And you know what? I have been actually really wanting this specific thing right here. TMNT Last Ronin is becoming a video game. A video game. I am very, very excited for that. So
I'm on board with it, dude.
It's going to come into the world here as a God of War style, like an action RPG. So as soon as I saw this news, I was like, this makes perfect sense. And I don't want to spoil anything because this is a really great story that I think it's worth reading and not spoiling. But this was a more gritty Turtles tale, and I really enjoyed that. So it seems like it's going to be it's still early days, but things are making progress here. So I'll just cite a couple sentences from the article. So like the comic, the Last Ronin video game adaptation will be a darker, more mature take on the typically colorful Ninja Turtles, according to Doug Rosen, Senior Vice President for Games and Emerging Media at Paramount Global. the rights holders for TMNT. In an interview with Polygon last week, Rosen likened the upcoming third-person action role-playing game to Sony's recent God of War titles, and said it will be authentic to the story of the Last Ronin arc, which is set in future where only one of the turtles has survived. So, like, we had Shredder's Revenge last year that was really good. I like that with this specific IP, there are going to be other ways that you can enjoy the Turtles. Like Shredder's Revenge is great. Like, and to me, that's classic Turtles games. Like, I love Turtles in Time. I like TMNT on the NES. That's really great. But this Last Ronin, God of War style, sign me up.
I think this is going to be like the first like 3D action RPG Turtles game that's going to be like, well, first off, I think it's going to be the first 3D action RPG Turtles game, but first like 3D Turtles game that may actually be good. Like, I don't know if you played Out of the Sewers, Out of the Shadows. What the frick was that? Like, they had like this combo system where if you played like multiplayer, you could do these like, it was very similar to Gotham Knights where you could do these like combos with other players to do these super moves, which was a cool concept, but executed poorly, and it ran really cruddy, like 20 frames a second on Xbox 360, and it was like exclusive to that back in the day. But like every single game, save for Shredder's Revenge and the SNES era, has been absolute garbage. I'm just excited for a good TMNT game.
Well, let me throw this to the both of you. So we all like Last Ronin, right?
Yeah.
We know that it's the story of it. How somebody who didn't read the book, gonna deal with not because we all know it's one singular turtle. We just don't know who that turtle is until you read the book. So what about people who think that it's going to be, it's Last Ronin, it's the Turtles, man, I can't wait to play, is my favorite one, and they get it and they're like, I don't want to play this sucks, it's only one dude, I don't like this.
I hope marketing and advertising is like spot
I would hope so for that too, but that's a good point to bring up. What if you're not savvy and read the books? Then what do you do? Then you're like, wait a minute, I can't play as my favorite turtle.
You may. What if because there's flashback sequences in the comic book that lead up to where the turtle is now. So I would love to play through those sequences where some of the turtles fall, and then the Last Ronin becomes who he is. That's a really gritty story, and I feel like the comic was good. Like, my problem is with comics, like, I read them, but I don't like really feel them. I feel like it'd be playing the game. It would be easier for people to be engrossed in that story because there's going to be voice acting and all that stuff. I think it's just going to be a better way to maybe experience that. I don't know.
There's a question: who owns the rights to Ninja Turtles? Anything Turtles? Is it Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
So is it going to be a Nickelodeon game? Is it going to have that like weird, like 3D art to it that looks cartoony, or do you think they actually go like?
I think they go gritty. Man. Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird,
I would hope
gritty
so.
with it. Like, that's what I'm expecting.
I would hope so.
That's the art of the game.
Kind of on the flip side of what, not being able to play as your favorite turtle here, and this might get into some mild spoilery territory, but I'm not going to spoil anything. But the turtle that is left is not himself. By any means. So whether or not you feel like you're playing as your favorite turtle or not doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is so far flung in the future. This turtle's been through hell and back. He is going to be the culmination of everything Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo all combined. Just the kind of person he's had to become in this gritty, dark future state.
He wears the black headband bandana over his eyes, so like you don't even know what color it is. It's just,
which, if you guys, did you read any of the original Eastman Laird stuff anyway? Like,
no.
That's
the personalities you got in the cartoon that followed is nothing like what the original stuff is. They were gritty, they were dark, they were willing to kill and murder, and there was no color differences. They all wore red bandanas across their eyes. Like, it was.
That's crazy.
It was crazy.
Like, I know reading Last Ronin made me want to get into the comics of it just to see like the road leading up to it. You know what I mean?
Santa Luca, I think it was Santa Luca, IDW, TMNT. Dude, you guys, if you want to read anything, read the first 2 volumes at least of the latest IDW reboot of TMNT. Like, it is very, very good, and the artwork in there, also phenomenal. So,
oh yeah,
I'm excited. There's a trailer for a new TMNT movie, by the way, that dropped too.
Oh,
just
yeah.
to tag onto this. I forgot to mention that, and I should have. The Seth Rogen movie actually looks really good.
I didn't know he was doing a movie.
He's not voicing, and he's got actual teenagers. I realize we were just adding to this news bite, but like, he's got some real actual teenagers that are doing like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle voices, which is really cool.
For the first
and,
time
like,
they're actually teenage too.
Yeah, like not grown men. Like, I need a stogie and a beer.
Hell yeah.
So, but no, it looks really cool. You guys should go watch that trailer too.
Yeah.
It's just an added little news bite there.
That's a good
Hell
one.
yeah.
Sidetrack.
I like it.
You know, speaking of tie-in video games, Eric, do you want to tee us up for our topic here in a moment?
Sure do. So we'll be right back after these messages.
You know, I said Eric's going to tee us up, but he just flipped us to the go away screen.
I did it anyway.
I'll tee us up. You know, what happened to the days of the good franchise tie-in video game, honestly? And like, as a furthermore to that question, why are they so bad now, except for like a few? Like, why are they terrible? But, you know, I think there are a few questions we can ask here. Is it rush development? Is it lack of creativity? Is it a cheap dev team or something worse? Something more nefarious? They don't care it's going to be shovelware? I don't know. But today, we are going to be diving into the world of the video game tie-in and talking about our favorites from yesteryear. Let's bash the worst of the worst today. So, you know, when I was thinking about this topic this week, it all kind of came through because the announcement of The Last Ronin being adapted to a video game tie-in, and just the knowledge that all the previous Turtles games, for the most part, have been pretty crap since the arcade and SNES era.
Right.
But I think that's a problem that goes all the way across the board with a lot of different things when we look at these franchises. Because I mean, how many times have you, like, as a kid, went to a store and saw, oh, look, Incredible Hulk has a Super Nintendo game that's out. This has to be awesome. And then you pick it up and it's like a really cruddy platformer where all the enemies are overpowered and it's just a beat 'em up as you're scrolling through. Like, I don't know, dude. It's like the question I ask at the beginning is, why do you think franchise tie-in video games suck most of the time? KB.
Well, I mean, if you look at ones that were successful, they usually were in development when, like, let's say, I know for me, the ones that like really stick in my mind are the Disney Pixar PS2 games, because a lot of those were really good. I feel like when the developer team for that can work closely with the people who are making the movie, it's a good experience. But when you have like E.T. on Atari, where it's couple months before the movie comes out, and they want to have a game launch with the movie. Yep. Well, good luck, dude. You know, like, I mean, I think a lot of it is it's all okay. How can we need to? They're sitting in the boardroom. They're going, all right, we need a game. What are we gonna do? Oh, I know. Let's do Incredible Hulk, but everybody's difficult. How quick can we turn that around? Larry, can you get that done in like 2 months? Yep, got it. Cool. All right, and it's done. On to the next one. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, they do the planning for it, but it's so poorly done to rush to get these deadlines done, to rush to get it out so you can ride that hype train of the movie being successful, man. Because when I was a kid, I'd go to the movies. You know where we went after the movies? Toys R Us.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I'd be like, I'm getting a toy from the movie or a video game if they had them at a reasonable price. So, like,
yep.
I mean, I remember it was the Disney Kart Racer game on Game Boy Color, one of those ones. I saw it and I'm like, yo, it's got all of them. Look how cool that's going to be. And I got it and it was trash. Trash. I mean, here's a good one. Toy Story on Super Nintendo. Phenomenal game. It's a platformer. It has where you got to take the RC car through a maze at one point. There's no saves. It's no passwords. It's a one and done. You have to play all the way through.
Yep.
My mind has been blown because I just now unlocked a core memory. I remember having the 101 Dalmatians VHS, the live action one that they did, where they had all the Dalmatians and the dude who owned the Dalmatians, Pongo. He was a video game developer, and they were showing like the Toy Story like Super Nintendo game in the movie, and I always wanted to play that. Was it good? It was actually good. It was
really good. It's one of my most favorite ones. I mean, here's another one for you. Two of them. I'll give you two of them, and then I'll say my piece with it. Two of them that were good. Well, one of them wasn't, but Toy Story, I think it was Toy Story 2, they were playing the Buzz Lightyear game.
Hell yeah.
And the Buzz Lightyear game was on PlayStation 2, I think. So, like, that was a good one. Do you guys remember the Page Master? Here's a throwback for you. You remember Page Master? Do you remember owning the VHS, and one of the trailers for it is play the video game, and it's him just jumping aimlessly through platform random levels that were way too hard to beat. I emulated that a couple years ago because I'm like, I want to play it, man. It looked so good. Yeah, the only part that's good is what they showed in the trailer, and that's that right there is a bad one. That is a bad one right there. That they rushed that to get it. Here's the ad. Here it is. Get the VHS. Oh shit! Buy the game. Here it is. Look. It looks so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude! Like I'm with you. Like it is one of those things where it is shovelware to make a quick buck for the franchise. But before I get my thoughts, Eric, do you have any feelings on the tie-in video games?
There's some good ones. There's some good ones. I mean, probably the best tie-in game ever would be GoldenEye. A lot of people forget that's a tie-in game.
I always never qualify that as a tie-in video game. You're right.
I mean, it's licensed. That's why it's taken so long for that to get into the ether now. The Spider-Man tie-in game, I think Spider-Man 2 on GameCube was okay. That one wasn't too bad. Good tie-in games I always associate Aladdin and the Lion King on the Genesis and the
Disney
Super Nintendo
cartoons, Saturday morning cartoon like Power Hour.
I gotta say there are differences in the Genesis and the Super Nintendo games.
There are,
but visually they look really great. I think a lot of the issues with tie-in games, as Ave Portland came out with a good point here, is they rely on the fandom and not necessarily the people who are interested in games. So they prey on the people who will watch the movie and then go to KB Toys or whatever and then go grab a game. It's not so much a thing now. I find that if there's going to be anything tie-in, it's usually like a mobile app or something like that. But it was very, very much a thing in the GameCube and PS1, and
I miss it.
I do to be honest with you, I do too. There was a Toy Story game I really liked on the N64, where you play as Buzz Lightyear the entire game, and that one's really good. I can't remember what that one is. Let me see.
Dude, some of my go-tos though that I think are really, really bad, and I don't know if you guys partake in well, I know KB does, Japanese cartoons, like the anime. It is an epidemic almost entirely across the board that anime video games suck straight. They're all so bad, except for a few, like Legacy of Goku for GBA. Both 1 and 2, I really, really like.
Those are good.
The writing's very terrible in them, but it is so bad because they tried to pack it in.
The gameplay is great.
Pretty much most of the Dragon Ball Z games have actually been pretty good. Most of the Dragon Ball Z games. But if you want to play something like One Piece or maybe even My Hero Academia 1's Justice, those games so bad. And I don't know why anime just cranks out these. And I think Eva Vaporeon's right, where it's they're preying on the franchise, pulling in people who are non-gamers to just spend money on this to jump into it. But the thing that anime developers forget is most people who watch Japanese cartoons will also play a friggin' video game. It's what are you doing? Just put some money into it. But when I think about some of my favorites from yesteryear, and this is one that I don't think a whole lot of people talk about because it is a it is one of those hard old school Capcom style platformers.
I know it.
Little Nemo Dream Master. That is my favorite of all time tie-in video game. It was a manga, and then it was a Disney produced cartoon.
That cartoon gave me nightmares, bro.
I love that. Well, it is scary. As a kid, it's super scary. But the game, and this kind of suffered from the same thing that you talk about with like E.T., where like they were dumping this game out before the movie came out. That game has nothing to do with what goes on in the movie. Like you're feeding candy to like animals that you can jump on and ride, and they have all these crazy powers. But Little Nemo is so good. Adventures of Little Nemo in Dreamland, I think is what that one is called for the NES.
Yep.
It's so good. And like I cannot recommend that game enough. Another one that's really, really good. I don't know if you guys played it. It was the Flintstones game on the Super Nintendo. Hang on a second. I just played it like this past year. I'd never played it ever. And it's like a board game.
Like Mario Party style?
The Treasure of Sierra Madrock. And so like, hang on, I'm pulling it up on the old analog here so you guys can kind of see it.
Hold on.
But like, so it's produced by Taito.
That's a good sign.
Taito. Come on, load up.
Oh, beautiful.
But look at the graphics on that bad boy. Like it is a pretty game. Yeah. And so it's a board game that essentially you go around on this board and you, if you'll let me skip, you roll a dice, go around this board, and then each space is a platforming level.
Okay, cool.
And you play as Barney or Fred. They both control very similarly, but the whole goal is to escape your wives, so they don't catch you and drag you back to the beginning of the board.
Hell yeah!
But like, it was surprisingly good. I was like, okay. But then like, I think about games that like I picked up that I hated. Home Alone for the Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Like I hated that game. It was obtusely hard for no reason. But like nowadays, even all these tie-in games that we see oftentimes do kind of result in just shovelware. And I think it is literally cheap dev teams just preying on the non-gamers to just jump in.
You know what?
Yes, sir. What? I don't know why, actually.
You know what game you would really like? It should be on your analog pocket for Super Nintendo, Animaniacs.
I do have that one on here. I've got every Super Nintendo game on here.
Have you played it?
I haven't touched that one yet.
Dude, play it. It's really, really good. If you liked the show, you would love the game.
Listen, the only thing I remember from that show, because I used to catch that right after Freakazoid. Freakazoid was the one that I loved to watch on Saturday mornings. But like, the only thing I ever remember is Bill Clinton playing the sax. And then also the United States name song. That is it. But
it's really good. I mean, like, look at all the NES ones. Like Darkwing Duck was good. That's hard as hell. That's a hard platformer.
You know, the Game Boy version of that game is pretty much the exact same thing as the console version. It's the same thing, just a color palette.
That's wild. I mean, isn't the Game Boy just an NES, like how the Game Gear was just a Master System?
I wouldn't call it
essentially.
That so
I mean, not one to one.
It was a little bit more dumbed down.
Oh yeah, I mean,
there were some limitations. There's a reason Mario and Mario Land looks really bad compared to Mario and Mario 1.
Well,
I gotta say, you guys mentioned Capcom. Capcom was like synonymous with NES. Like all the NES games were great. Like Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid's really great. DuckTales, and of course, you got your Mega Mans and stuff. So Capcom was like the go-to for the NES platformer, and then Disney sent out some of their licenses over there. One thing that we need to consider as well for tie-in games or tie-in movies, let's reverse it. Pokemon the game started first, and then the whole anime trajectory thing. Like Ash finally finished his story arc after 25 or 26 years, like the other day. So that's all done. To look at the fandom that has come from that video game still now. Like Pokemon's a series that is here to stay. Like that's not ever going to be mishandled. Then we got to look at all the other fad stuff as well. Like, I can't remember if Yu-Gi-Oh was a card game first, and then it turned into an anime or whatever. But like, there are reversals, of like games and then content off as a spin-off, which is another thing too, because like video game movie tie-in video games are always bad, and movies made off of video games are always bad. Like they always cancel each other out.
The way that was actually going to be kind of my question is like, why do you think some of those work the other direction? And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like the stuff that's simpler, that doesn't really have much story or content or context, typically works going from video game to animation a lot better, or even live action, because they don't have this established story that they've got to follow. Like if you look at the Halo show, that was an utter train wreck that they put out. Like, there's a reason nobody's still talking about that, because it did not follow the game's story at all. But Pokemon Detective Pikachu, like, dude, like they put out a Pokemon movie. It has nothing to do with the video games, and everyone loses their shit, and they're like, yeah, you know, like, let's do this. Like, it's just one of those things where I think people are more open to it because those licenses are a little more open to interpretation, because there's not a whole lot tying it in as long as they nail the look.
Exactly.
So, I don't know, but it's harder to blast a story down to a seriously, like you watch any movie, any cartoon, anything, like it's very hard to go, okay, I'm going to take that and make that a platformer, or I'm going to take that and I'm going to make that a racing game, because like it's not going to have the substance. You're trying to adapt this like hopefully 10-hour experience at least off of an hour and a half long movie or show.
Absolutely.
Like what are you doing? Like,
Yep.
Talk about the Barbie games, please.
I mean,
oh my god.
Talk about it.
Barbie
That's a hell of a tie-in.
Detective Pikachu. Wait, not Barbie. Detective Pikachu. Detective Barbie. The Vacation Mystery. You know, let's just get let's just do it. Let's do it. But you know, the most recent tie-in game though that I think I did fall in love with, that I think is amazing, and I don't know if you guys have played it, and if you have, but I think I talked about it a little bit last week. Is the Spider-Man game.
Oh yeah.
For PS4 and then later brought over to PS5. That Spider-Man game is probably the best tie-in video game I have ever played across any platform or console.
Same with Miles Morales, man. That's another. That's good too.
That game is movie length.
Miles Morales is. You know, Spider-Man was the only game I've ever platinumed also on PlayStation, like ever, and it's because I could do it organically through just playing the story and doing everything that's able to be done.
Cool.
Like, it wasn't like, it was super cool. It was like, do you guys have like a more recent like tie-in video game that you love that's not Spider-Man, or maybe it is Spider-Man? Like,
that's a good question. So. Honestly, I think it would have to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man was a really great story. Because like I'm just a fan of Spider-Man in general, but the way that Insomniac did that game, and Miles Morales, and now supposedly Spider-Man 2 is coming out end of year this year. But I think Venom's voice actor came out and kind of confirmed that, soft confirmed that. I would have to say, Spider-Man definitely. Second to that would be Uncharted. I love the Uncharted games based off the movie. That's great.
You know what? I would
based off the movie Indiana Jones.
Man, the Lego Star Wars games.
Oh, those are always so good. That
would be mine. Yeah. That would be mine, because you have the Skywalker saga. You have them all. So that you guys can have Spider-Man. I will go left, and I will say Lego Star Wars, man.
I have a hard time with the Lego games because they're so boiled down to simplicity, just going and beating up bricks, and I can never follow the story, and I get lost.
You don't need to follow stories. Beat up everything. Just destroy it all. Cause as much destruction as you can. The hell with those Lego bricks. You know what I mean?
A question for you. Would you call Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order a tie-in video game, or is it entirely its own thing?
See, that's where it gets weird, because Disney only considers certain things canon and certain things legends. And I don't know if they said if this is canon or if this is legends.
I think it's canon.
This is canon. He's canon. He's included in some expanded universe stuff now too. So that they've put out in the books.
It could be. It could be a tie-in.
I feel like it's kind of its own thing in some ways, right? Like it
well, they I mean, because the way that game starts off, you're in the scrapyard after certain events take place. So like,
maybe it is.
I mean, it's loosely a tie-in. It starts out as a tie-in that then goes into its own thing. But then
the most meta thing that I think we should see, though, before we get ready to wrap up this episode, we need a tie-in video game for the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Where is that?
I wish, man. I wish.
Are they going to shadow drop that or what?
They should. If they don't, they're losing money.
I wonder if that's why they pushed so hard to get the Super Mario World theme park in America. Like why they pushed that hard to get it completed.
Very true.
Shoot, we should get a tie-in video game for the Super Mario World theme park.
Just really quickly.
They have it. You go there and you got the bands.
Yeah,
play while you're there.
Absolutely.
They are amiibos.
So, but anyway, sorry, Eric. Sorry.
Batman on the NES is another good one. That's that.
Which one?
The just Batman. The Sunsoft Batman. That's a good one.
Well, it's Sunsoft.
Another
great things.
Another weird one, which was technically the third movie in the Ghostbusters franchise, was Ghostbusters the video game. That because they brought all the original actors to come in and voice act.
Oh yeah,
the one from PlayStation 3.
The one that's been remastered 1,000 times and always on sale. That one,
Ghostbusters the video game remastered or whatever it is. Ghostbusters the video game. That's a good one because that's an Atari done game, but I really liked that game. That was really good.
It's the only place you can get Harold Ramis, man, his voice. Because
I sold so many copies of that game when I was working at GameStop. Everybody always wanted it, and like I'd ask people, like, "Tell me what's good about it," because I like the Ghostbusters movie. I liked both of them. They're not, and I'm saying both of them because the new ones that they've done don't exist. They're bad. But this one, like they said, this is like an unofficial part 3, Ghostbuster. Like, I don't know. I think that's cool.
Yep, you play as a new recruit. You go into the Ghostbusters thing, and then you play alongside all the other guys. Like I love Bill Murray. He's my favorite actor. He's funny as hell. So
I'll tell you what's kind of. You could also consider the new Ghostbusters game a tie-in because it takes place after.
True.
After the most recent movie.
Most recent movie was okay. I didn't mind it.
I enjoyed it. It was sad. I enjoyed it. If anything, that was more a tribute movie than.
Wait, was that the one? That was the one with what's his face, Dan Aykroyd, that produced it. Is that one came out?
Yeah, it's been out.
I didn't know that came out. I didn't know it officially came out.
Yeah,
I saw the trailer for it.
Go watch that.
The more you know. Never mind.
The Lady Ghostbusters movie I did not like. We went and saw that in cinemas. We even got the high C ecto cooler. I remember searching for that
one.
See, that was the one I was talking about. Any movie after that was just not good. I didn't know that one came out.
Go watch the new one.
Yeah, watch
Afterlife.
It's really
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Good.
That's it. Go watch that.
Yeah,
cool.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
The story's good. Everything's good, man. The ending had me in tears, bro.
Oh man, that's good. So we talked a lot about '90s things. What do you say we let's do a quick transition here to one more '90s thing that we can chat about. That's going to be really cool. What do you mean one more?
What do you mean?
I want to talk about my favorite '90s thing that is turning 30 shortly.
Me?
You are a '90s thing. Look at you, man. I want to say it now. It's a little early. I want to say it now, but we're all on the phone. Happy early birthday, Eric.
Thank you. We're wrapping up my 20s here live on the show.
You know what's crazy? In America land, me and Mrs. Nerd have been married almost longer than Eric was able to drink legally. It's so stupid.
How nice is that?
True.
Huh?
God, I feel old. Why are you making me feel old? And you just now hitting 30. See, you're not old yet. Like,
I don't know. Don't ask me. I didn't choose my conception date.
it's true. Let's bring in the mom next week. We'll ask her why.
Yeah, bring her in.
So what was it about July that?
It'd be too good. It'd be too good. But no, you have one more 90s thing you want to talk about, Eric. What was it?
Yeah, it's 90s cartoons, dude. What do you think was the best 90s action cartoon? Here we have on the Google Doc, TMNT, Street Sharks, Transformers. I hadn't thought about Street Sharks in ages. But I love Street Sharks. I love the toys. Oh man, it was a thing. I want to go buy those toys now. They'd be hundreds of dollars.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I typed in something. The Street Sharks your favorite?
I'd say out of all of those, that's probably what I watched the most. I didn't watch Transformers as a kid.
I didn't either. I watched Beast Wars Transformers. That was like.
See, I watched a lot of Beast Wars Transformers too. So here's the deal. I went through this kleptomaniac phase as a child. I think everybody has like a moment of weakness, and the dollar store got in these Transformers toys, and I regret it. I wish I had never done it. But I remember pocketing the Cheetah Transformers Beast Wars toy in my, because it was 90s. It was the 90s, so everyone had all these big clothes, and I was wearing this gigantic jacket, and I just like jammed it in my pocket, and then quietly walked out. I feel so bad about that. I feel so bad about that.
Yeah, we're calling your mom. Call her up live and get her on here.
No. I don't want to hear it. I don't need to be guilted. I already feel bad enough about it. She's gonna be like, we need to go find the owners of the dollar store. But no, like it was that was kind of like my go-to. But you know, like I'll give you two. One that's like classic, very 90s cartoon, and then one that like a lot of people probably don't really think of it as like a 90s cartoon. But my favorite 90s cartoon that I watched, I think was Cat Dog. 90s?
Yeah.
1998. Just barely old enough to be considered a 90s cartoon, but like Cat Dog was kind of like my go-to favorite 90s cartoon of all time.
I watched that first episode when it aired. I remember that clearly. It was 5.
Cat dog, cat dog, cat dog, cat dog. Alone in the world is a little cat dog.
But you know, I would say that my my second favorite that I actually caught a lot, like right after school. So I would get home and I would load up Cartoon Network, and it was before Toonami was coming on.
Yes,
it was before Toonami was coming out, and it was, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Reboot.
Hell yeah, dude!
Are you guys familiar with Reboot?
Man, that animation looked so lifelike to me back then.
It did, but it's so bad now.
It's so bad now.
So like basically they classify it here as the first CGI cartoon.
Yes.
I think is what it was. Synopsis, storyline: the extraordinary adventures of life within a computer. And like what was cool is like they would throw in these like the user of the computer would throw in these video games, like, and they would come down as these cubes, and these like your main characters would get like transported into these video game worlds. So like every week was something crazy new in a video game world. And as video game obsessed as I was, like that was, and that really hasn't stopped, but like that was like one of my favorite cartoons to watch, and it was just so cool and different and weird. Man. I can't believe it's like 30 years old also, just like Eric.
Man. Yo, did you watch the Donkey Kong TV show?
Yep,
I did. Also terrifying, cursed artwork. Cursed.
I'll tell you, the one I liked was Code Lyoko.
That was right before Reboot. Like it would come on right before Reboot, but I didn't get home from school early enough to see it.
I did.
That stupid school bus.
No, dude, I really enjoyed Code Lyoko, the Good Teen Titans. Not that the new one isn't good, but like it's not gritty, man. You know, Teen Titans, the original one was real good. It was yeah, man, that was real good. I like that. Adventure Time. I mean, I used to watch Zoids at 6 in the morning. I'd get up early to watch Zoids and then go to school. Hell yeah, dude. Like
Zoids are freaking rocks, dude. I got the game here. Like, I can't wait to play that.
I mean, Mrs. KD put a good one in. Kablam. You guys remember Kablam? It was on Nickelodeon.
Yes, dude. Prometheus and Bob shorts on Kablam were my favorite shorts that would come on that show. Like it was.
You want to know something funny? So there's like the classic rock channel everybody has in their towns. There's a classic rock plays like AC/DC.
106 The Eagle.
Yeah. So get this. So I think it's one or two of the hosts from the local show, the one here, voiced a lot of the actors for Kablam.
No way.
That's cool. That's freaking cool. What was your favorite short on Kablam, KB?
The ones with the action heroes.
Oh, see, action heroes always weirded me out. They throw them in the toilets. The way their mouths
they did
moved,
the weirdest
it was like
stuff,
that robot
dude.
chicken.
Listen, the other one that was good was where they had like the real people faces, but like their mouths moved. Really funny, dude. It was 90s Nickelodeon was trippy, and there's actually a documentary on it that they said they tried to push the envelope as hard as they could to see what they could get away with, and that's why, children, I do not like a lot of your favorite shows that came out in either the late 90s or the early 2000s, because by then they had to slow down and stop. And
Okay, boomer.
Cartoon Network didn't care. Look at Ed, Edd and Eddie, man. Look at Courage the Cowardly Dog, Cow and Chicken. I mean, the dude walked around with his butt, and the other dude kept saying, "Look into my nipples of the future." I mean, come on, man. Who
Ren and
wouldn't want
Stimpy,
that?
dude. How did they get away
Ren
with
and
that?
Stimpy, dude. It's log. I mean, come
Ren
on,
and
dude.
Stimpy.
Come on.
I hated that cartoon. That one, Cow and Chicken. Even Rocko's Modern Life kind of pushed it for
Rocko's
me
Modern
because it was
Life
like
is weird.
creepy and disgusting.
Dude. Well, he was a phone sex worker. I mean, come on.
We don't know that.
Was he really?
Yeah, we do. No, we do.
It's implied.
It's not
Hang on.
implied. We know it. He is a phone
Rocko's
sex worker.
Modern Life phone sex. I really hate that this is going into my search history right now. Phone sex worker.
I'm telling you, he was a phone sex worker.
The moment you realize Rocko was a phone sex operator.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a screen cap here. Let me just send this over for Eric to be able to share on the screen. You want to flip over to media? I'll just send you this. Oh wait, hang on. Can I just send this as a link so you can just click on it?
Oh yeah.
No, it just keeps
Hang on,
importing the friggin'.
I'll import it into the.
But yeah, it was Rocko's Modern Life was very raunchy, man. He was a phone sex worker. So watching it as a kid, I didn't realize what any of that was. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever.
Remember,
but like after,
One-on-one
be hot,
hotline.
Be naughty. Be courteous. Can I get Eric to say that for everybody?
yeah.
One-on-one. Thank you for calling the hotline. Remember, be hot, be naughty, and be courteous. So they'd be asking like, what kind of pants you wearing right now? He'd be
I
like,
need the audio. I'm gonna make that a channel
somebody
point redemption.
please,
I'm not wearing pants.
That's really good. That's really good.
Oh my gosh! Holy cow!
thank you for
chills.
calling one-on-one hotline.
Chills.
Khakis.
Khakis, yeah.
I'm
yeah.
Jake from State Farm.
But yeah, dude, it was Morocco. Like Nickelodeon went hard back in the day, dude. They went real hard. I mean, and they did it until they couldn't. And the day that they couldn't was, unfortunately, like, and they talked about in the documentary, SpongeBob started them dialing it back.
Yes, it was.
And like, it's
SpongeBob well enough.
Dude,
I like SpongeBob well enough. It's fine.
I don't, but I have other reasons why I don't like SpongeBob.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which we could talk about. That could be a midnight snack. For
Okay,
those that really
that's a good one. That's a good one.
KB Origin Part 2 Dark Hawk.
Yeah. Why do I hate all the things you all love so much?
But okay, Boomer.
Why does
That's
KB
the title
hate
of that
everything?
episode.
Yeah. Okay, Boomer.
Oh man.
Okay,
No.
Boomer.
So what was your favorite? Eric, was your favorite Donkey Kong?
Well, out of this list that you had on the Google Doc, I'd say Street Sharks, but there's so many other things that I like. Like I love Dragon Ball Z. That was nuts.
That's 80s, boy. That's
yeah,
80s.
but I mean, like I watched, like it started to make its way into like Cartoon Network and stuff in the probably
that's true. It was
borderline
90s.
90s, 2000s. The Pokemon anime was really good. Speaking of Disney stuff, I really liked Gargoyles and Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
Oh, Gargoyles.
Dude.
Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck or the what was it? It wasn't there was Darkwing Duck, then there was also one with Scrooge McDuck. What was that one called?
DuckTales.
DuckTales.
Okay, yep. There was DuckTales, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Tailspin was good, dude. I mean,
Don't
all
let
of
me
those.
forget
Tailspin.
Batman Beyond. That was a good one. That was a really good one.
I loved
Yeah.
Terry McGinnis Batman is really. I think I may be mixing him up with an artist. I can't remember, but I think it was Terry McGinnis, right? Mm-hmm. Who's that Batman? That artwork was really cool,
So
and they tried to do a lot of the Bruce Timm style Batman, like the animated adventures artwork in that, and I think it emulated that really well. But the problem that I have with Batman Beyond is it defined what DC animated movies were going to look like forever. I wanted something different. And then they did Batman Ninja. I don't know if you've seen that one. That one's not 90s, by the way. That
No,
one,
I want to see
released
that.
within the past 5 years or something like that.
that.
It is really good, like an anime Batman movie. It was good.
You know it's really good? You know it's really good? The Batman. The new movie, The Batman, with Robert Pattinson.
I haven't seen it.
I want to watch it again, dude. I will sit there for another 3 hours and watch it again. It is that good.
Does anybody watch Instagram Reels? Like one of my favorite sounds on Instagram Reels is like it's somebody's like taking the piss out of the Nirvana song, and it's like something's in my ass. Oh my god! Every time I hear that, it makes me laugh so freaking hard.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Oh
no.
man.
Shout out
This
to
seems like a good place to end it, by the way.
I don't go on Instagram, man. I'm on TikTok. I'm trying to enjoy that before the government takes it away, man. I know I don't.
See, this is the thing. It takes them 3 days to take out a Chinese spy balloon, but like 6 years to take out TikTok. I mean, come on, man. What's going on over there?
I mean.
Thank you, Patreon. Don't forget the KB origin stories on. That's a good one, and plus all of our pre-shows and the House Hunters clapping thing.
You know what I want to throw into the episode here because you always ask what's a final thought? What's a final thought? And I'd like to hit you with a serious final thought, right? And this comes from a quote from one of my most favorite actors of all time. I'm going to read it here off my phone. Oh, where's my glasses? No, just kidding. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind always.